All right, I believe we are live. So, today we're going to be talking about looking for Section 8 housing, low income housing. If you're out there and you're struggling right now to get housing, that's exactly what we're going to be addressing. And before I get started, I'll make a few introductions and cover a few other minor details about the holidays. So, on the introduction side, I am the owner of Section8Consulting.com, and I'm going to put up a link real quick for you guys here. Now, if you have, this is a live chat, so you're actually seeing me live. If you view the video later, then we're having it now. You can watch the live chat section from your phone, your TV, or whatever device you're using. So, as I'd mentioned about Section8Consulting.com, I help people with housing, getting vouchers. Help probably around 70 to 80 people a month, and over probably several thousand a year. I would have you take a look at the website and so on if you're struggling with the housing aspect of this or getting a voucher, because this might be a powerful resource. There are not a lot of consultants that do what I do. There are 403 HUD consultants, but that's only for structural and building purposes. All right. Now, moving on from that, I want to tell you about something interesting this morning before we kick off the actual video. Now, most of us have done this, scratch off tickets, right? So let me just tell you, spent $100. So that is what it is. But man, six winners out of 20. All right, they're $5 tickets, and I've received $35 from my investment. It's pretty bad, right? So I got to tell you guys, if you're going to spend your money and you have a family, these are probably not the best thing to do it for. Okay, I only do this once a year, and that way I help somebody actually win a real prize. So I get the booby prize, and then somebody else gets all the good cash. But it does go towards school and education, so I believe in that, and I think that that's possibly a good cause. So for the city of Houston, all the kids out here learning, there's $75. That's my donation. I hope you appreciate that. I'll take my other 35 and go have a steak dinner. All right, so let's move on to this. So we're talking about Section 8, and a lot of you, I think that we need to look at the search for housing in a different way than we have learned and have been taught. And we certainly do not want to take the guidance of the Housing Authority or HUD because, to be fair, the Housing Authority has done a terrible job just about every element or aspect of this stuff. Outside of just basically making you wait forever to get a voucher, most of you are struggling, to be able to find and use a place. So let's talk about what's effective for me and my clients. So what is it that I'm doing differently than the average person, and why am I having better success with this than those of you that have been doing it yourself? Well, you might be surprised by some of the things I'm going to tell you, but if you're not a shy person and you're willing to follow through with the things that I'm telling you, I think that you would do okay. So first up, I want you to take a look at these couple of resources I'm going to give you here. The first is, as many of you know, there are hundreds of sites you can utilize in order to see pre-approved landlords for Section 8, low-income housing, affordable housing, and so on. I'm going to give you that right now in this live chat window. And it's affordable housing online. It also, they bought up, now this is a federal subcontractor, so they can't put a lot of fake landlords. Google is filled with fake. I mean, you've got people that own buildings that say they're low income and they're not. So there's a lot of lies going on when it comes to the Google search. In fact, there's so much of that, people scamming with this stuff because they know in principle that you're kind of desperate to get housing and so on. You'll have to excuse me. I got a friend here walking by. So, they scam and they make these links and websites. And no, you're Jana Davis, you're not late. Not at all. So, they're knowing that you're going to give out your social security card, your social security number, your address, and so on. It's enough identifying information where they can take out loans and run other scams. So that is what it is. So I would encourage you guys to use legitimate sites. And affordable housing online is one of those resources. The second I want to give you is directly from the feds themselves, HUD. And most of you have never seen this, so I'm going to give it to you. And this is what they call a property dialogue, all right? And I'm going to copy that right into our chat window. Now, that link there will identify every property in the U.S. that has signed up through a housing authority. Now, with an accuracy level of about 86%. But that doesn't necessarily fix your problems when it comes to housing search. because of the pandemic, and we've talked about this, so the horse is dead. But a lot of you are trying to do what everybody else is doing. You're going to these lists and links, and you're applying at the same place that everybody else does. This year, by virtue, up to 40 million people were evicted, and these people all now have vouchers and are looking around for the same thing you're looking. So everybody's attempting to do the same thing, but expecting a different result. And so a lot of your housing search is just repetitive and a dead end. My suggestion is that you move to the private market. Okay, I have a lot of success with the private market, and I know that a lot of you have tried realtor.com, Zillow, and so on. So that is what it is. But one of the places that I get the most fantastic results are actually a Facebook marketplace. They have a lot of independent landlords there. And so, how do you address that situation and make it work for you? Or at least the way that I do with my clients. Um, One thing you want to do is become fully armed with the information you need with these landlords. I deal with over 200 of them, some small, some big. But there is one thing that's noticeably different when dealing with landlords. If you present the right case, it wouldn't matter if you had a Section 8 voucher. So when you're speaking to landlords through Facebook Marketplace, and there are thousands there, I find that when you pull your own credit report, your criminal report, your eviction records, you bring in your paychecks and you're building a folder out. Okay, here's my credit score. You have all of it prepared where they don't have to go out and actually do the research. By the way, I have references on standby we can call right now. And so what happens is the acceptance rate of that for private landlords considering you on the spot, because that's what you're doing, you're putting them on the spot, is much higher. Actually, it's successful around 80% of the time. Now, yeah, is it a little bit of work? Of course, because you're pulling your credit report and all that. But the thing is, you're building a nice, neat file, and you're proving to the landlord then and there that you have the information available. Secondary things, dispelling concerns. Remember, landlords are as ignorant as anybody else. And so they, by virtue, do tend to listen to the news, and they believe that everybody may destroy their apartment, and the Section 8 voucher is going to be a problem, and it's going to take forever to get paid. And so you are having a fine understanding of explaining the things to them that there's only an inspection. It's in most cases it's a virtual inspection at this point, and other presenting factors are a lot of you are moving from one place to another, taking adequate photos to show that you have not tore the place up, that you are a good tenant, so they see for themselves. So that's snap judgment. So the bigger part that I find with the highest failure rate is landlords end up having to wait forever. Pre-prepping this where you're speaking to a landlord and saying, look, I understand that it could take up to 30 days to get the inspection and that you might be at a loss. So let's come to a little bit of a different agreement. Why don't I give you first and last on deposit? And we'll consider that last deposit as part of the deal to help hold the apartment while we go through the inspection process. So there's no love loss between that. Now, is that more expensive? Yes. But here's the deal. You're already in a convoluted market where it's landlords have a lot of them haven't been paid. They don't trust anybody. They don't have a fine understanding of Section 8. And most of the tenants that come to them in a very well. Let's just put it very plain. They just come to them in a desperate manner. You're going out there presenting your best case with all your case details ready, explaining adequately what you're going to do. You have a proven history of not doing things badly, and you can prove all those things. That's what makes a lot of my clients get offers from landlords that otherwise would not even consider it. So if you're not willing to go the extra 30 miles with this, and you're just going to apply on, affordablehousing.com and these other federal sites that I just copied and pasted in, look, you're doing what everybody else is doing. And right now, I'm going to, you look at the country as a whole, the housing situation is very dire. We've strained that system beyond belief at this point. So trying to get housing from the typical resources is not working. It's barely working anymore. Now, the good news for most of you is when January 1st hits, new federal funding does roll out. It means the coffers are full of cash. And of course, those of you that are seeking vouchers and other subsidies, things are fixing to get a lot easier for your life. Also, we're exiting a pandemic, at least the consequences. Now, this pandemic and the consequence of it is still going to last for years to come. But the good news is now that things are starting to reopen, and a lot of we all seen the red tape behind federal funds. What happened when the government wrote billions out to help people to rent? Only roughly 7% of that money ever reached anybody to this day. 7%. What do you think's paying for that house infrastructure bill they just had the president sign about a week ago? All the unused funds. They Politicians convoluted that so badly. Only 6% of all money allocated to help people throughout the pandemic ever reached them. And this is the US government at its best showing you what an absolute fucking failure it is when it came to this. So, we have to wonder, we accuse third world countries of not running their business right. We just proved we couldn't even handle our own. That's just reality. I don't give a damn who's running this country. It isn't the president, it's the people and it's the politicians in every city and state that decided to put a bunch of crazy ass rules behind rent and the release of vouchers and processing funding that tied this up. And so it's taken all this time to make all their policies and rules and red tape, and finally the money's starting to be released. So I do believe we will start to see a relief in this country starting. Well, I'm starting to see it a little bit, but I think that the vast majority of this is going to be on the flip of the new year. Okay. So I'm going to address a few comments. I see people are now commenting. Oh, by the way, guys, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving because that's coming up. Now, if you're not religious, then happy Turkey Day or happy McDonald's Day. It doesn't matter. I'm always very joyful this time of the season, and I immensely enjoy getting on and talking to you guys. I know a lot of you are still struggling with housing and other issues. I've got about 70 cases right now, and I've been working extreme hours. To be frank with you, I haven't been on this YouTube for about a week, and that's unusual. Y'all know I kick out videos like hot potatoes, but I was exhausted, man. I had to take 3-4 days off. I didn't want to do anything but watch Netflix. I just did not want to do anything. Y'all like to kill me this year. Not y'all personally, but let's put it this way. From the pandemic rolling out as of earlier last year, by March, the analytics of my channel just skyrocketed to unbelievable levels. It was like 2-month wait to even speak to me. That didn't happen just once throughout the last year. It happened 4 separate occasions where I absolutely got bombed to the point there were 1 and 2 month waits to do consulting with you guys. And during that, I was working 18-hour days. I mean, I felt like I wanted to throw the towel in several times because it was too much for any one man. But I didn't, and I managed to survive it. I won't ever do that again. That was too much because it caused me a great deal of health issues. I caused my own health issues as well from not eating properly and being heavy, but that didn't help it either. So I guess the blame goes a few different ways. All right, let's talk about some of these comments here. Jay Gonzo, shout out from Chicago. Hey, Chi-Town, we love to see you guys from Chicago. Got some good folks out there that I know from Chicago. I got an older couple, black couple out there I love to death. Shout out to them. They became new owners of a complex last year. I hope they're doing well. Jana Davis, how are you doing this morning? And happy holidays to you. And Jana Davis goes on to say, I bought my girlfriend Kim with me, and she has good questions for you. Hey, I look forward to it, Jana Davis. You and your girlfriend, let me know what y'all got for me. I'm always thrilled to help. Look, when you're trying to help yourself, I'm always happy to help with that. I'm not going to do if you're going fishing, I'll fish with you, but I'm not going to catch them for you. So, anyways, comments. Hey, what's up, Jay? Good morning. Anyways, how are you? Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. Deborah Nully, let's go to Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. I have no idea the context of what that means, Deborah Nully. What that's supposed to mean. Mister, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. You've been a regular lately. It's just like that TV series, Cheers. You've got your own bar stool, Mister. A few of you do. Tammy Peace, good morning from Michigan. How are you doing? Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. And Mister comments, good morning, Jay. Thank you for the great info. I haven't forgotten to schedule my appointment, bro. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. You know what, guys? I can talk like the wind. And a lot of you are always concerned that I'm going to hang up on you in the minute we're past the 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Look, a lot of you guys end up talking to for an hour. I enjoy doing what I do immensely. It's not about time and money. I only do a limited number of consults, and I take those cases very seriously. I've been seeing through several of them for several months. And so anytime we win against the housing authority, we get what you need. Um, I do get an immense amount of pleasure from defeating housing authorities and absolutely getting what y'all need. Okay. So there is a reward. I do get a blast, a good feeling in the brain when I win. Don't we all, you know? Jenna Davis says, Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. So we're having Turkey Day, and we're having Turkey Day with 22 cats and myself. And on Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, I'm going to be live for a little bit, show you all the setup. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Big Pop's my cat. And so y'all must know with 22 cats, they're very much my Hollywood stars for this video. They're in a lot of my videos. Y'all know my cats. For those of you that are regulars, I think I'm going to show y'all Big Pop. Y'all haven't seen him for a little while, so I'm going to show you him in a minute. He is snoozing in the bathroom. He's found him a new spot. All right. Jen Davis says, Happy Thanksgiving. Jay Gonzo, Happy Turkey Day. Yes. Anyways, gave me some holiday seasonal leaves and other fall leaves. So thank you. Deborah Nolly, Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Deborah. Peaches Gear. Happy Thanksgiving, Peaches. I heard about the letter you received. I try to respond back to you. Let me know. Buddy Farley, I get $1,160 a month. Okay. So with that being said, buddy, you would meet the low income aspect of that. But you know what, buddy? You've got to do more than just be low income, okay? If you want to set a precedence for getting a voucher, you need to have a lot of things, stack up a lot of things. There are a lot of things to be considered, as I mentioned many times to you guys, whether or not you're a veteran, whether or not you're a senior, whether or not you're a domestic violence victim, whether or not you're homeless, whether or not you receive a Social Security disability, whether you're, there's so many types of vouchers. And so we want to add as many of those things to your application as possible, buddy. And Buddy Farley goes on to say, can I get a voucher? There's a possibility. I didn't. Buddy, that's not enough information about your case for me to make any determination. I don't even know where you live. You know, that's the thing, guys. I can't make a wild guess without knowing a lot about you, buddy. You know, that's the thing. Felicia Gould, hey, welcome back. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. How are you doing? Felicia Cooley's a long-time member as well. Rob Rose, what's up, Jay? God bless. Happy holidays. Best to wish from the boogeyman down in the Bronx. We love the Bronx. Let me tell you something, guys. I deal with a lot of New York. New York, it represents a cool 40% of what I do. Manhattan. So I give a shout out to the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, all you guys out there. We love you. Matter of fact, I was talking with a client today from out there, and we're working on getting this lady. She is becoming an official. She's not going to be a pilot. She's going to be, I forget the name, but she'll be the stewardess there. And as you know, when you begin your stewardess career working with the airlines, it gets better each year until you get seniority, and then you make a good amount of money. So those that can survive that and do a good job, they have long and successful careers in that field. So good luck to you as well. Jenna Davis, you're the best. I appreciate hearing that. Dawn Hare. I have been denied from every place. Getting out of the marriage I went through, sometimes hard. I got a voucher and I've yet to been able to use it. I need some help. What can I do? Well, Dawn, I don't know what you've already done, and I don't know really where you're from. I got to get a lot more details from you guys. Think about this, guys. We're U.S. 50 states, over 5,000 counties. Every community and county has a different system of things and a better way to approach it. Like a lot of you say, oh, well, you live in Texas, you live in Houston. Well, I deal with clients in every state. And I can tell you what works on the West Coast doesn't work on the East Coast. What works with a million population doesn't work with 20,000 people in a small town. And so it takes a lot of consideration. When I deal with housing authorities, I'm looking at the reasons, how many vouchers they have, the reasons in which they're willing to give them out, how many preferences you have, can we get special use, and what are the personal things you have going on with you that would make you rank higher. Yes, part of reading policies, procedures, operations manuals, data manuals, HUD manuals, federal code, federal regulation, and so on. There's a lot to be considered. It's not just simple things that, hey, I'm in a wheelchair and I'm 62 and I think I've got a wonderful case. Well, maybe so, but that alone only makes you part of a bigger group of people that all have the same problems, So we have to make your cases compelling. And that takes time, time and research if you really want to do it well. That's the reason why my channel's not full of angry people that booked consults with me and never got anywhere with it. That's why there's not an angry mob here. Because I do things the right way. It may not be the fastest, but it certainly does a hell of a lot more than a lot of you are achieving on your own, just putting your name and address on an application and hoping for the best. There is a logical system to this. There are ways, and you don't have to necessarily be a liar in order to get what you need. But, part of what I do is the natural ability to shoot holes in their system, to exploit housing authorities that have weaknesses, and doing it within the reasons and limits of the law. Just like you had been charged with murder, you'd want a hell of an attorney that understood how to get you off. Well, I'm trying to get you in. And to do that, it means that you have to have an absolute understanding of how they operate, including reading their operational manuals. If the housing authority deploys a data or algorithm, then I'm reading through the data manuals to understand how the algorithm is determining your rank. Let me tell you something, folks. This is not a tips and trick channel. If you're looking for Sally, the makes Section 8 videos, say Sally makes videos on YouTube, and she's got 3 steps to get a voucher, well, hey, you can take her advice, or you can take somebody who's read over 1 million pages. Okay? Long time doing this. And I get better at it every year. So, hey, if you're going to play the game, and that's what this is, that's why we have lotteries. When you go and you play the lottery for a couple of dollars, is it not a game? When the housing authority says we've got a lottery, well, what exactly is a lottery? It's a fucking game. You either win the voucher or you lose it. Now, whether or not you understand how to do that is a different story. And signing your name and your address to an application and hoping for the best is not the best way to win anything, other than a lot of disappointment. Because you'll be popping your flops till there's not even a soul left on them before you ever get one. Some of you guys are going to get tired of looking like a homeless jackass standing out in front of the housing authority while you have a 23-year-old that just got her GED out the bubblegum machine, and she's going to determine whether or not you get a voucher. And some days it may be determined just because of whatever attitude she has. If any of you have ever experienced going to the housing authority, driving over there to go get a voucher, and they just print you one out based on your your hard luck story, you can forget that. Life does not work that way. You'll meet some of the most condescending, fiendish people you'll ever deal with. And trust me, same people you see that day when you drive your car through the Taco Bell, she'll be the woman working there as well. If you think you're dealing with highly educated people, the housing authority, you're not. The same level of ignorance you'll find in that place as well. Anybody wants to question the ability of the housing authority, let me tell you something. To work there, it only takes about $100 and you can get your certificate. Okay? If you think these people are worried about what y'all doing, so I make it my job to understand exactly what needs to be done with these housing authorities. All right, so let's move on. I'm gonna answer a few more questions here. Rob Rose, what's up, Jay? God bless. Happy holidays. Wish. Okay, so I already commented on that one. Jana Davis says you're the best. Dawn Hare, I've been denied. Okay, so I already went over that one. Roland Bays, good morning and welcome to the channel again. Bays, you have been a regular. Thank you for the Thanksgiving turkey. Jenna Davis, Kim and I are coming out in Stockton, California. Excellent. California is my second biggest region of people outside of New Jersey. And I do love my folks from New Jersey and Boston because I love the dialects. I get more little old ladies from Jersey and Boston than you could ever imagine. And they're some of the most entertaining people you'll ever talk to on the phone, but they're some of the most gracious people that you'd ever deal with as well. So they definitely do have my respect for those of you who are Upper East Coast. Same thing for California. All right, so going back down to Bob Rose. Bob Rose says, if you port out to another state and that new housing authority is billing your old, okay, can you still complete a program to buy a house? Well, yes, you can. So you would be talking to, in that case, we would have to determine whether or not the housing authority actually runs that program. If they do, then you could start the process there. I should remind you guys, if they do have the program to purchase a home, it's a long, long process. Like even buying a home is a long process, but that's even longer. So if you have the proper things in place, And it does require a number of different people as well. Because with buying a house, you've got to have a lender in place. You have to have the right credit score. You have to have provable, either a provable income for 12 months. And then in addition to that, if you're on a fixed income, Social Security, then you have nothing to worry about. It is what it is. A minimum credit score of about 500. And there's a lot of other things I get into. I think I made several videos about that. Dawn Harris says, thank you for what you do. Hey, man, I appreciate that. And I want to thank Dawn because she's the first one today to thank me. This is a very thankless job. I deal with hundreds of people and I never hear thank you very often. So I always appreciate that. Uh, anybody know what it's like to work a thankless job where people just want something from you and they honestly don't give a shit about you after they get what they want? That is a lot of what my job is. It's a whole lot of what it is. So when people thank me, I always have a fine appreciation for that. It means your parents raised you the right way. It's the simple things in life that give me a level of respect for my clients, and thanking me is one of those things. You don't need to thank me with your checkbook; just say thank you. Simple. Moving on. Anybody says the housing system absolutely requires experience to navigate. I think we have at 2021, after 60 years of this program changing, flipping, after every new president changing rules, legislation, federal code constantly changing, I think we are reaching a point where either you magically somehow landed all the right answers on an application and got it. But at this point, I think that we're reaching a level where it's no longer an honest system. It's become complex. And often you guys are applying for vouchers and they're not even the ones they have available aren't even for you. Let me tell you something that also makes my cases very interesting. If I explore 15 different housing authorities for you, and I determine that one of those housing authorities say they're giving out vouchers specifically because they have a lot of funding for a person that is both homeless and going through domestic violence, I can assure you by the end of the week before you apply, you will very much meet the criteria of being homeless and a victim. All right. Sometimes we have to make your application match the plot and the course. I always tell people if you aren't disabled on Monday and they're giving out vouchers because of that, you'll be disabled by Friday legally. Okay. So that's important that you understand what it is you're doing before you go and do it. And you're matching the plot and course of this. So you're thinking, why does it need to be so sophisticated? Well, it doesn't have to be. You can simply wait the 15 years when they give out one of those vouchers because what I call, I feel sorry for you. You've been on it 18 years. Here's a voucher. Most of you don't have that kind of time to wait. Doing it the stupid way can cost you decades. Make no joke about it. Now that we tried to evict about an eighth of the population, and everybody's got vouchers these days, or trying to get them, then it's that much harder. So what was 1x difficulty has become 5x difficulty. There is a lot of desperation in this country right now for housing, vouchers, and so on. Make no mistake, this is not pre pandemic times anymore. It is extremely difficult now. And the amount of work I have to put into this has grown immensely. You're looking at whole new sets of rules. If we get another new president in a couple of years, this is all going to change again. Everybody's got a different idea, so they rewrite the rules. And guess what I have to do? I've got to go through all of this bullshit again, relearn everything, and then have to reassert that information to be even effective. And then you have policy changes at state, county, and federal level. And so, yeah, it does change. It's a rapidly changing game that you must be able to keep match with. Most of you guys don't have the capabilities to spend your life doing that. Moving on, Joshua Suarez, I'd like to ask you a question. You're more than welcome to. I'm in Mummy. That's an interesting name. I like that. I did a VSP test and did well. However, I'm aware that being in a shelter dinged me. No, actually, the shelter helped you. You may not realize that. However, remaining in a shelter greater than 30 days could prove a ding against you because, in technicality, it does prove that you are housed. Anytime you remain in a shelter, a jail, or a mental facility, inpatient, more than 30 days, they could consider you housed. So that could be a bit of an issue. But where are you at? It says here you're in San Diego. I don't know. I think that it's probably still a safe bet for you. I don't think that San Diego is your best bet for housing when it comes to this. I think you should approach some of the counties around San Diego. San Diego was hit hard. So was Orange and LA. What I mean by hard, state of California, 100,000 on the list for vouchers. Some of my clients got it quickly, some didn't. Moving on, next comment. Anyways, Jay, are you considering Tennessee for buying a home? Let me tell you the states. Now, most of y'all know that I'm in the process of moving. And if any of you are real estate agents, please reach out to me. As of right now, in the runnings of states that I'm considering are Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama. Why do I choose those southern states? Well, it's simple. You can get a large home, fairly new, and you don't pay that much. I'm also considering the upper Midwest. And I'm also considering places like Michigan, Ohio, and other places. Okay, especially when I know it's a down market. You look, if you can get a 4 bedroom brick home for next to nothing, just because things are on a downward spiral in the economy for specific cities, I don't mind living there. I have no problem with it. Look, I come from one of the poorest states in the union, Louisiana. If you don't think people in Mississippi, Louisiana are dirt poor, you're crazy. Look, if I can survive that, I can survive anything. But the main goal is to be able to get as much bang for your buck as you can. And to be frank with you, I'm tired of Texas. I've already lived in Louisiana and I've seen most of the country. So it does appeal. Will I move to New York or New Jersey? No, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to rent a broom. You're not going to stick me in a broom closet. I'm not doing that. For 10 grand a month, they rent you a broom closet. You know, So, anyways, yes, Tennessee's in consideration, and another state, Kentucky. I looked at that as well. Now, look, guys, I'm not going to live out in the cornfield. I'm sorry, we're not making a movie about cornfields. I'm not doing that. But if it's not out in the cow pasture or cornfield, I'm just definitely in consideration. Joshua Suarez says, "What if I live in New York Housing Authority? I have my own apartment. And I'd like to transfer to New Jersey. What do I do in the application?" Oh, well, let me tell you something there, Mr. Suarez. Portability can take up to 45 days. You first must contact the housing portability specialist for your housing authority. You must request an RTFA packet and then find out whether or not the housing authority in New Jersey you're wanting to go to, you need to find out whether or not they're billing or absorbing. And if so, would you meet the criteria for the great state of Georgia and that housing authority? Just because you got perks, bells, and whistles with the housing authority in New York does not mean that's going to translate to New Jersey. They may strip it all down and say, hey, you had a 2 bedroom, and now we're just doing a one. We don't agree with what they're giving you on the voucher in New York, so we're going to trim the fat. It's a delicate dance doing that. And so the process itself is not mind blowing. But if you don't do that right, you could end up worse off than you were. And also, you're a bit. That's not much of a gamble. You're not moving too far, so I don't feel like you're going to be left struggling in a hotel. Look, housing authorities are notorious for accepting the vouchers in different states and then leaving you standing on the sidewalk. Oh well, we changed our mind. So it's important that you understand the process in its totality. I would recommend watching a few of the videos ahead. If you truly don't want to gamble with some of the stuff, you can always hire me to consult with you. So what I do for a living, I do it well because I understand. Look, if I can carry on in the video for an hour straight, I must know what I'm talking about. I don't have to read from any notes. I've got a lot of the stuff just identical in the brain. I understand it. I read the policies, procedures, and I have them. Also, I would recommend reading the 572 pages of um, HCB guides. Okay, so you understand the practicing principles inside the housing authority. Look, if you don't understand the rules in which they're playing by, don't expect them to actually do them. Good morning, Gail Resources. Good morning. She's a longtime member, also a great housing advocate. Good morning, Gail. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Good to see you. Today I'm supercharged after about a week's rest. Moving on to anyways, you are a busy bee this morning in this chat window. You say Muscle Shoals, Florence, Alabama. So lovely there. You know, I dealt with a landlord out that area, Florence, Alabama, for a while, and I didn't hear from him again. He was trying to get in there. Alabama's got a tough housing authority system. It's hard to identify who and what is the housing authority in Alabama. A lot of the more rural counties, the housing authority is literally a 1 bedroom house, inconspicuous house in the neighborhood, and it's the housing authority. And you go knock on the door and you see a little old lady with a desk and a chair, and that's the housing authority. You got to love Mississippi and Alabama for the backwoods, super backwoods. But hey, welcome to to the family. I've seen that play out in my home state of Louisiana, where you have housing authorities literally in some little old 1950s house, you know. So moving on, Jana Davis, Michigan. You know what? I'm considering Michigan as a place to move. Now, I hope you guys don't murder me with the snow and the zeros out there. I hope that me and the cats are not going to have to buy a bunch of heaters, space heaters. Now, you move somebody from Texas, we're not equipped. Our body temperatures aren't equipped to handle that cold. So I'm wondering how Michigan might do if I move there. All right, moving on. Michelle Marie, good morning. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for being a member of the channel. Just turning in. Wonderful. Where is it? The states where I can get housing as quickly as possible. Well, let's talk about the United States and the states that I'm still considering favorable at this point. Forget the upper East Coast and forget the West Coast for the most part. So, Oregon, Washington. Let me pull out a state map. You know what? I thought I'd learned all the states in kindergarten, but here's the deal. I have to sometimes look at a map to help me out. That way, let's see. Here we go. All right, so we'll start on the West Coast for good states to consider. So right now, California's not a good one. Nevada, no. Arizona, no. Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, good. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma, it's good. Texas, fair. Minnesota, Wisconsin, medium high difficulty. Iowa, I would put it medium. Missouri, very low. Arkansas, low. Louisiana, low. Mississippi, Alabama, low. Georgia, medium high. Florida, complicated, almost to the not even worth time of day dealing with Florida. South Carolina is moving up to the high difficulty. North Carolina, starting to move to high difficulty. Virginia, absurd. West Virginia, absurd. Washington, absurd. Pennsylvania, excellent. Connecticut, okay. Massachusetts, tough is a tough one. New York's tough one. Maine, non-existent. And there's a few other I probably missed there. So as you can see, Midwest and some parts of the East Coast, a little bit of the East Coast there. You know, I mainly know where it's bad. All right, so I'm glad we had to look at that. Woman of God. We got a lot of women of God in here, but I appreciate you identifying yourself as a woman of God. Oops, I have a child. Well, that's good news. Having children are a good thing. You know, I come from a big family. I don't have any kids personally, but my grandmother on her side, there were 21, including her. On my grandfather's side, there was 19. So, you know, French people and Cajuns are a lot like rabbits. We tend to mass produce children. Um, Maybe contraception wasn't a big deal in Louisiana in the early days, but yeah, we produce a lot. It's not just other races. Cajun people do it too. My aunt had a baby every year since '84. I think she's at 19. So yes, we mass produce families. We probably have to run a stadium to get us all together. Thankfully, I didn't want to do that, so I enjoy my paycheck by myself. I'm greedy like that. All right, and my cats, of course, they love to eat it up. You know, imagine having a treat bill once a month that ran around $400. That's 22 cats. All right, moving on. Pamela Foster, if you port a voucher and reasonable accommodation from another state, can a new state make an issue about it? Absolutely. Hey, man, when you move from one housing authority to another or to another state or county, you're playing by the new set of rules. Now there are some federal protections under the disability and ADA laws, but I mean, it really depends. We'd have to really sharpen in the question there, Pamela, to figure out what it is you currently have and what you're trying to do. But yes, they can argue the point because ultimately the housing authority is responsible for making its own decisions. JJ22, thank you. Hey, I appreciate that, JJ. Pamela Foster goes on to say also with being disabled with mobility issues and other multiple disabilities. So you might have a decent case with that, Pamela. But again, I don't know the full case on that. MT says New Haven, Connecticut is open. All right. Well, so we have an announcement there. Connecticut, state of Connecticut, things are open in New Haven. So for those of you that are in and around that area, especially when you're up in that tight area up there in the upper East Coast, if you're looking for vouchers, guys, you should consider all areas. Here's the deal. When you get one, even if it's way away from where you work and live, you can port it back there. You don't always have to wait to complete a 12-month lease to do so. So utilize portability. One case, I was able to port a lady from Seattle to another state within 6 days, or getting the voucher. I'm not saying that's present in all cases, but we certainly can try hard. Jenna Davis, Kim Berry here to get the emergency housing voucher opposed to the housing choice voucher. Do I want to go through Susan? Okay, so guys, about the emergency housing voucher, 70,000 being issued since the beginning of the year. They have changed the policy, procedures, and rules for that. Emergency housing vouchers are only issued by referral or recommendation from a county employee. Two, they're also issued by continuum of care, housing first, or um, coordinated entry. So the continuum of care, which mainly addresses homeless people, and that's what those are for. And in addition to that, they can issue emergency hotel vouchers. They very much have funding for that right now. So it really just depends on the situation. So I want to go back to the original conversation, guys. You guys are going to get out of your comfort zone. Number one, you cannot just consider one place. Two, you must consider many places around you and try to port back in. Number two, if we're looking for housing, you need to start addressing private landlords. Nobody likes rejection. Look, my whole job is based on rejection. When I fight cases for you, excuse me for a minute. Oh, goodness. I got to tell you, there's a lot of grape in that. I love grape, but I don't love it that much. All right, so a lot of you want to go to all the corporate lists that everybody else is reading. If everybody's reading from the same menu, it means it's overdone. If we're all going to affordablehousing.com, we're all going to go Section 8, all that shit has been trumped to death. You're not the first person to go there and apply for every building. We have to think out the box. A lot of my clients, I'm just taking the private landlords. If you don't put a good appeal, you don't just show up. You don't just call landlord. Oh, by the way, I've got a shitty voucher. Can I come over and use it at your home? You don't do that. The way to appeal to private landlords, especially through Facebook Marketplace, is, hi, my name's Sally. I'm here. I'd like to see the apartment. You see the apartment. Waste a little bit of that woman's time or man. Now I've got a file here, and all I ask is you just give me 5 minutes and just try to keep an open mind. If you take a look here, here's my credit score. If you look here, here are photos of the last apartment I live in. As you can see, it's in immaculate condition when I left it. Here are my landlords. They're on standby. You can call them right now. Here is my job. Oh, by the way, here are all my paycheck stubs. You see the point? Now, here's the part that you're probably not going to like, but I would ask that you at least consider it now that you've seen my case. I have a voucher, and I can guarantee we can get an inspection if you just consider it. The United States government will pay 70%, up to 70% or more, and I'd like to rent your property. Just please consider this. I've got children. I really need the opportunity, and if you do this, you have a guarantee payment. Look, by the way, through the pandemic, most people that were accepting market rate people, they ended up getting no rent per year. Everybody who accepted vouchers ended up leaving the situation almost financially undamaged. So please, now that you've seen me, you've seen my case, you've seen my credit, you've seen my references, I've paid for all this stuff for you to see. Would you at least think it over and let me know? 80% of the time, we nail landlords with that. How many times do we have to address private landlords before we get a consideration? 1 in 8. Okay? Or you can keep doing the same old bullshit with affordable, go Section 8 and all the rest, and then show up, and then you're like everybody else in the government cheese lies wanting something, guys. Look, in desperate times, we must take desperate measures. And I understand some of you are shy and other things, but you're going to have to, pony up and start addressing these landlords with authority. Wear your best church clothes for those that are old. If you're on a fixed income, especially you on a fixed income, you present that entire case. Oh, I've got a voucher that covers 70, and I've got a guaranteed $1,200 Social Security payment. There's zero chance of you ever worrying about you getting your rent. So what's the fucking problem? Of course, you don't want to present it with the profanities, but you see my point. The landlord sees there's zero opportunity. You have 2 government checks. There's no chance that you would ever be a problem. And by the way, I'll stay forever. You never have to worry about leasing this thing again. That is most of my seniors. They stay forever. Why move? Why would you even want to risk that during a pandemic? So be clever about this, guys. This is what I do. And if I'm doing it personally for clients, then I know it works. What doesn't work is using the same old shitty list of landlords, the same old project based lists, and hoping for a different result. Isn't that the very definition of insanity? You guys are not wanting to do anything different. Outside of that, we need to target many different counties, many different housing authorities for those that seek vouchers. And I think we've had an in depth conversation in regards to that. The old days of, oh, well, I'm going to live right down the street are over with. Then it was, can I live in the city? Now the pandemic hit, things have changed and it's tougher, and everybody wants the same thing. And so we have to consider all surrounding counties. If I can get it 40 minutes over the county line in a different county, then we port it back in. Okay? Be clever, guys. If you don't have problems that match the criteria, you're not a senior, not a veteran, you're not a domestic violence victim, you can't get HOPWA, or you don't have HIV, or you're not a homeless person, and you're not extreme low income, then your case should be all about matching every single preference that you know the house, if that's what they're going to kick the voucher out for. They're never going to tell you what it is. That's why people hire me to figure out what that is. If I find out that 2121 New York Street Housing Authority has given out vouchers for 3 different preferences, you can bet your ass will be the very picture of what you're looking to give that voucher for. Okay? That's how you play this game. You don't walk in and, hey, can I get an application like you're at Kmart? You put your name and your number, and we'll call you in 90 years. That shit doesn't work. You guys call me in tears. Well, I don't understand this. I applied in 85. They still don't like me. Of course not. You've given them nothing they want to give you a voucher for. You being low income by itself means nothing to these people. Everybody on that fucking list is low income. Everybody on that list is, oh, hell, that's 90% of the list. What sets you apart that's going to give you a higher preference? There are other ways outside of this. Special use vouchers. Oh, there are many, many, many different types of vouchers. And there's not just housing authority giving vouchers, by the way, guys. You can get referrals as well. I've got domestic violence victims that get backdoor vouchers all the time. Oh, the housing authority's been closed since 1991. Well, it's not for domestic violence victims. They get a referral from the district attorney's office, which is a what? County office. And a county office makes a county referral to the what? County housing authority. Well, magically, quietly, out of that back door comes a voucher. You guys really don't know, do you? That's the point I'm making. So you have to make that decision, guys. Do we want to watch the expert of fidget spinners and baking cakes in the next channel over? 3 steps to get a voucher, the most asinine shit I've ever seen. Or we're going to buy $30 books from people that don't have a fucking clue about Section 8, but they've written a whole fucking novel, on bullshit. Or you hire a consultant and get it done. As simple as that. I don't need to sell what I do. It is what it is. So let me, I'm going to give you a couple of links. And let me put this very straightforward. For those that don't know me that well, do your due diligence. Look me up. Look up everything about my company and what I do. If my reputation doesn't outlast the things that I say, you don't have to deal with me. But you're quickly going to arrive at one clear factor. I am the number 1 consultant on YouTube. I am the number 1 consultant on Google. The worst you can do is go and hire the 3rd best if you choose to utilize what I do. I wouldn't have survived 7 years in here on YouTube. I would have a lot of angry people show up in this channel using choice words about me, but they don't. And there's a good reason for that, isn't there? All right, so I'm going to give you these 2 links. I'll leave you all with that. Let's talk about Turkey Day. I want to talk about something interesting now that we've preached and talked and gone through the emotional roller coaster of how do we get housing. We get it by applying the same way we did back when we were young and went to the Kmart and the Walmart and the Sears and J.C. Penney's. You put on your best case. You present one human to another. Okay, the new way of doing shit, no contact, everything electronic. There's no face to that. There's no story to that. There's no human appeal to that. And so you just become another number, another agitation. Some things do work logically. And so I'm always all about the old school. All right. So anyway, those 2 links there. You can take a look at that. One more link I'm going to give y'all is just the reviews. If y'all like to read funny and interesting reviews, there's about 120 on me. Some are good, some are bad, some are interesting. And I always tell you, you know what? Reviews are good therapy. If you're having a shitty day, You want to take it out on somebody, go right down that reviews area. It'll accept reviews from anybody. Write the most horrifying review you can think of about me. My life doesn't hinge on reviews. It never has. I could care less about them. But that's for the benefit of people that believe that reviews, are going to be useful. So if you're ever having a bad day, come on down and give me a nasty review. That tells you a lot about the character and the personality, of what I am and what I do. I don't really worry about that stuff. I've seen it and done it long enough to know better. So, what do you guys? We were talking about turkeys earlier today, and also through a questionnaire I did, whether you're baking those turkeys, whether you're doing rotisserie, whether you're frying them, and I think there was another one I was thinking about smoking a turkey. Now, I'm a native of Louisiana. We do drop fry them. We do them Cajun style, a little Cajun seasoning. I don't know how folks do it up north, but I imagine y'all are rotisserie, right? Or baking. So I'm hoping to hear back from you guys on how you do your turkeys. And for those of you who don't have a family, focus on what's important to you, your friends, okay? Some of us will be alone. I get that. And I will be live shortly for Thanksgiving because I am eager. There are a lot of seniors that are alone that have nobody. There are a lot of mothers with single children that have nobody. And it's scary times. And nobody likes spending the holidays alone. I can do it alone. It doesn't matter to me. I talk to my cats as frequently as people talk to their children. It's good health. It keeps your mind healthy. So, guys, I've enjoyed talking with y'all today. I hope that you have found some of that advice useful, and that is what it is, advice. But I only give advice when I know that it actually works. You don't need to be charismatic. You just need to present your best case. People are still human. They still understand that. And as long as we continue to do everything electronically, you're not going to be able to appeal your case to all these landlords and links and crap. You've got to, I want to see more of you go after private landlords. They're very susceptible to your story, no matter what color you are, and if you present your best case, and like a lot of my clients, you get housing. And you don't have to live in some shitty complex with a bunch of gunshots and gang activity. You can live in a little house, you have a little yard. Maybe you're a senior, you garden. If you got children, then you mess the yard up with toys. Do what you need to do. So that being said, I'm going to take a look to see if there's any other questions here in regards to that aspect of how to get housing when you've got a voucher. Or for those of you that are struggling to get a voucher. And then if I can't address those questions, we'll wrap this up because we've been on 52 minutes. And I promised one thing. I'm going to bring up Big Pops, the big cat. Now, he's not my biggest, but he's near as big. So I'm going to do that right now. By the way, I'm wearing a nice shirt, but under this, because I'm at home, I'm wearing just exercise pants. So I hope y'all don't shame me for that. Papa, the audience wants to see you. It's over 30 pounds of glory. This is Big Bear. He wanted to say hello to y'all for Turkey Day. Last year, he actually snatched a piece of turkey before I could get away from the oven. He's a big boy. No, I do not. And just so y'all aware, I don't overfeed my cat or anything like that. I don't. Y'all know how I feel about abuse of anybody, animals, pets, children, and elderly. He's been a loyal cat, like a lot of them. A lot of my cats have been abused, abandoned, or damaged in some way, and I rescue them. He is a free-wielding cat, which means he has to run in the neighborhood, and sometimes people feed him what they shouldn't do. Unfortunately, I cannot control that, and I'm not going to trap the cat in the house because of that. He's living his best life, and he appreciates that. When you guys become members of this channel, that little $5 y'all give me, it goes to all those treats I do every month. In fact, my Siamese, you can't see her right now. She's up there. We saved her. You talk about a cat that was starved to bones. So it goes to that. Do I need y'all's money to be a member? No, absolutely not. I can afford what I need to afford. But, if you believe in the care and comfort of animals, if that's part of the principle of the way you were raised, become a member. If you don't want to, that's fine. So, guys, I'm going to wish y'all happy holidays, and we will see y'all. So today's Monday. I might do another one Tuesday, see when things are busy, and then probably the last one will be on Thanksgiving Day, show you a little bit around my house. I like to make my personal story out here. I'm not just here to be somebody with good hair and makeup and all that stuff. I like for people to see people for what they are, genuine. So you'll be able to see a part of my home, some of the other cats, and what we're doing that day. And those of you who are alone, celebrating alone, that's fine. Come celebrate. We can all be alone together, you know. And I do have family coming, but for some parts of this, I will be alone, you know. So let's see if any other comments are here. Let's see. Oh, we have a number of questions I haven't answered, so I'll use these last 5 minutes to answer these questions. Oh, Papa's, he sees the treat bucket is what it is. And when he wants something, them claws will shred that treat box. So I gotta keep an eye on him. Michelle Marie says, I am more than willing to move to a different state. Massachusetts is brutal. It absolutely is. Massachusetts is a extremely difficult system to navigate, and their system's a little bit different than other states. In my, is it hot candy? It is hot candy. So in my hot candy, New York hot candy says, yeah, but we can't, landlords accept Section 8. Why can't? Well, you know, that's the thing about it is you have to put a human face to vouchers. People learn all the bullshit on TV because TV and news is now everything is political, it's religious, it's extremism, and it's just horseshit. It's no longer the news like it used to be in the 80s and 90s. Everything has a motivation now. So does social media. And so landlords believe all the garbage. A lot of landlords I have to teach, hey, you know, not everybody's going to smoke crack and tear up the apartment. You know, you're talking about a small fraction of people. People wait 10 years for a voucher. You think they're going to move in and just tear your whole house up? No, that's very rare cases. And it happens mostly when landlords get desperate and don't screen their tenants. So I think that you do have a chance because every damn client I've dealt with had a great chance, and most of them do get what they want. Jana Davis says, we're looking for the quickest route off the street so we can put a roof over our head. Your quickest route, Jana Davis, would be taking SBDAT or COC assessment, going out to coordinated entry, having that score entered into HIMS system. If I got to give him some treats because he's going to drive me wild. Come on, Papa. Let's get the treats. Here. If I don't, then we'll have a pound of treats on the carpet while we're making this video. All right, so going back to that, getting that assessed and then entering the scored HMIS system, then they kick out a voucher for rapid rehousing or PSH. That would be the fastest way. Approaching counties with a population less than 100,000, and then that's it. There's not a whole lot of other magic really to SBDAT and COC testing. Their manuals tend to run around 75 pages to 200, and they usually include the tests in there. These manuals are not designed for the participant, but I have them anyways. So, you know, if you have both the questions and the answers, you can see how the outcome would probably be pretty good. If you did this without one of those manuals, then you'd be like every other jerk. You're applying without knowing how to win the voucher. I don't ever let me tell you something. I'm not stupid. I don't ever play a game without actually knowing how to win it. Okay. If you don't have an advantage or an edge, then why the hell are you doing this? That's the thing, guys. Let's just be honest. I'm not doing this to see how many times I can fail, whether or not I'm gambling. I'm not going to sit and gamble on people's housing. Look, if I didn't have these manuals, I wouldn't even make this channel. That's the thing. If you want to win, you better have an edge. That's it. Moving on. MT, do I have to be a resident of the state to apply? No, you do not. And there's lots of ways to overcome the concept of you being a resident of the state when you, in fact, don't live there. Lots of ways, trust me. Lots of legal ways as well. We live in clever times with an internet. There's lots of ways to get real street addresses. You can look like you've been living in that state for 20 years. They wouldn't know the difference. A lot of you think the housing authority's got 900 employees. They walk around with camcorders and investigate everything you do. Look, housing authorities are the most poorly funded organizations out there. Besides having ignorant people working in there, for the most part, those people don't investigate anything. They rely strictly on a lot of the answers you tell them. What little resources they do have access to, it's only at the county level. So the truth that you breathe is often what they have to pretty much accept, with exception to things like income. Even your federal tax returns are protected. So if you lied, oh, I don't got no income. Well, you know, how did Donald Trump manage to still not give a tax return? Simple. Federal agencies do protect your rights. Same thing with HIPAA and your medical records and other things. So there's lots of ways to play the game. Moving on, Rob Ross. No one to take advantage before Jay becomes YouTube rich. I'll never be rich off of this, guys. Let me tell you who gets rich off of YouTube. Let's be very clear. You want to get rich on YouTube, you need about 16 to 23, willing to set your hair on fire and jump off a roof. If you're willing to act like an asshole and you're young, then you'll get 1 million views and you'll make millions of dollars. If I come on here to help people that are homeless and other things, I'll get 13 views and a nickel. Okay, let's just be honest. This channel will never make anything. Okay, nobody sits around and go, hey, I'd like to go look up a Section 8 consulting channel and I'd like to be entertained for this afternoon. Nobody does that. Nobody gives a damn about Section 8 except for people that need it. Okay, there's nothing interesting. Like I said, if I'm not a teenager willing to set my hair on fire and then jump off a freeway bridge and go splat and get 1 trillion views and they instantly get rich for being stupid. But when you try to help humanity and people that really need it, that's not a worthy cause to YouTube. So thus the videos do not rank. I'm not considered important. You need to do something completely stupid in order to get those kind of views. And that's what's worthy of YouTube, trash and bullshit. So let's just be honest. How much have I actually made from this channel this year? Probably $4,000 or $5,000. How much have I spent on vet bills? Way over that. How much have I spent on the camera, this professional microphone, the high definition camera? I'm still paying for this shit. Okay. So no, I'm not going to get YouTube rich. But hey, anytime y'all want to give me 1 million views, I won't turn it down. Quad Girl. I'm assuming I remember your name. I believe you're a quadriplegic, if I'm correct. Extended voucher twice. Long waiting list for an apartment with a roll-in shower. How many more times can a voucher be extended? I believe up to 3, but they can be compelled to go further, especially if you were to get a housing advocate involved, which is an attorney. And they usually don't cost anything. So I would suggest that you fight for your for ADA compliance and rules for that. Oh, wow. There's a whole lot of other questions I didn't see. It looks like, goodness, a lot more than I thought. Tammy P says, hi, Big Bear. Loria, oh my God. Is that Morris? Nope, that's not Morris. If y'all ever seen my Maine Cooch, he's a real big cat. Pam Foster says, I want to say thank you for having a love for cats, loving them as much as you do. They're so beautiful. I have a cat. Audrey Purdue, I am new to the channel. I'm in Panama City. Okay. I get a condo off of Section 8. Yes, absolutely. Anyway, says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. New York Hot Candy, the place I live, they have changed the management for a long time. Sorry to hear that. Rob Rose says, does anyone need to be employed for portability ahead of time? It would be good to show that you have just cause to receive a job when you arrive in the city. Easiest way to defeat that policy is to sign up for Uber in one of those places. Okay, pretty easy deal, right? New York Hot Candy says, I have an inspection coming Tuesday. Excellent. MT, thank you, Jay. All right, guys, this is the 1 hour. I think we're done. No reason for us to keep carrying on. I really, like I said, I've enjoyed this. For those of you that are bored, Thanksgiving Day, you should join me. I'll do a little bit before the turkey. I realize many of you have family and other things to do. For those that are lonely, come join us. Bring out some of the cats. We'll talk about a little bit of this and that, and then try to enjoy it. That's the best way to do it. By the way, guys, I want to mention one more thing. A lot of you have casework with me right now. Look, this week is Thanksgiving week. County employees are not at home. They're not at their job, okay? People take off. County employees take off. There's nothing I can do. I'm accepting consults. I do casework. There's 0 point in trying to do casework this week. None. We'll achieve nothing. So I'm sending off some stuff today for some clients. But until Thanksgiving passes, we're not going to have much of anything really happening, guys. So you have to remember, we're now on Turkey Day, and we're very close to Santa Claus Day. And so this is when all county employees take off, and it's going to be a treacherous time. But here's the thing you need to keep in mind. When January 1st hits, that is the new federal budget. Don't wait till the 1st to start your case if you need help, okay? The reason you want to start on the 1st is because if you start now, then you likely can make a pretty good move by then. But anyways, that's for those of you that are tired of doing it yourself and waiting for 10 or 15 years or don't completely understand the complexity of the system. If you think you've got this, then that's great. I have to ask why you're probably watching this video, but hey, you never know. So anyways, I'm going to leave a few more links and then we're going to get off of here. So book appointment and these two. Take a look at the information. If you think it's valuable, do it. If not, hey, it is what it is, right? All right, guys, I'm going to wish y'all goodbye, and it's been fun talking to y'all today. And for those of you who are out there doing a housing search, I wish you all the best of luck. It always breaks my heart. I don't want anybody to be homeless during the holidays. All right, y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.